Okay guys, so today's discussion is one that's quite close to my heart. We're going to be looking at ways to tell that you're actually recovered and fresh, raring to go. Recovery seems to be this kind of unicorn that some say exists and some say doesn't exist. The bottom line is, if you're at this a lot and you're always grinding, always hustling, trying to get better, you're very rarely going to be in a perfectly recovered state. Having said that, it doesn't mean that we shouldn't strive for a state of some kind of recovery at which we can actually express some of our physical attributes. So in this video, I'm going to share with you 5 anecdotal tips, which are actual tips based off my experience as an athlete and working with all the people I've worked with over the years. So it's not just someone sitting there on PubMed going, well, the study said that you're only recovered if you wait 72 hours, or you are not recovered if you train one day after. So this is anecdotal, guys. Throw all of the virgin sex therapy theories out of the window and let's get into it. Factor number 1 that I always like to go to see where I'm at in terms of how fresh I am, raring to go, and what my system's firing like, is balance. So stand on one leg. Are you toppling all over the place? Are you coordinated? Do you fall? If so, if it's a little more off than usual, usually this is a sign that your system's struggling to coordinate what it should be doing. Obviously, your nervous system coordinates your muscles and your movement and everything in between. So this is one of the telltale signs. Another one that I like that's a bit more specific to calisthenics is I like to just kick up to a handstand. And on days I'm fresh, I've noticed I'll find a nice straight line, first time of asking, no warm-ups, no excessive mobilizations. I can just get it, hit it, hold it, calm, chill out, think about what I'm doing. I'm conscious, I'm present in the handstand. On the days that I'm tighter, stiffer and banged up, my body will just not compute that inverted position. I'll kick up, I'll topple, I'll shake, I'll fall. It will take me a couple of goes to get there sometimes. So that is one of the good markers you can use just to see where your balance is. Factor number 2 is flexibility. So tight is often unrecovered, and heat can play a part here as well. So don't think just because you're super tight, i.e. at this time of year when it's winter and freezing, that means that you're definitely not recovered, because you're never going to be as mobile as you are on the 1st of July when the sun's in the sky and it's 35 degrees on a Spanish beach. You're always going to be getting your best mobility there, okay? So keep that in mind. But nevertheless, the days that you're very tight for no real explainable reason, there's been times where you could have trained up a body and you've gone to reach for your toes the next day, and everything just feels locked up and stiff and sore like you've just done a ton of hamstring training the day before, then that's often a sign that the system can be a little bit beat down as well, because it's not letting you express its potential. So that's the theme that we're starting to see here, is can the system express anywhere near what its true potential is? And the further away you are from your true potential when you try to express it, generally the more beaten up you tend to be. Number 3 is how long and how much of a warm-up do you need in order to access, again, saying that term, the high level or the level that you're capable of. Again, climate plays a part, so don't be silly with this one and think just because I'm saying you should be able to perform at peak, then, you know, if you don't, you're not ready to train. Because if you're living up in Iceland and you try and do a max deadlift straight out of the gate with no warm-up, no nothing, I don't think it's going to end well. But having said that, with climate considered, how long it takes you to actually feel like you're moving okay and that the movements are clicking is often a sign of how recovered your system is. When your system's down regulated and beaten up, it really does not want to get going. And there's a saying I like, which is saying if you have to force the body to do something, should the body be doing it in the first place? Something for you to ponder. Okay, so number 4 is quite sciencey now, and it's probably the only real sciencey one that we're going to hit here, because most of this is just anecdotal that I can confirm works. But this one is your resting heart rate and your heart rate in general. So a classic overtraining test is to wake up in the morning, first thing, and see where your heart rate is. If you notice that it's elevated above baseline, somewhere even as low as 5 to 10 beats up, which doesn't sound like a lot, but that can be a strong sign that your system is overstimulated and not recovering fully yet. Obviously, in order to get those numbers, you need to know what your resting heart rate is on average when conditions are good and when you're not suspecting overtraining. So if you've got a smartwatch, a heart rate monitor, or anything like that, it's well worth your time just tracking a baseline throughout, say, a week or two, maybe even across a month, to give you some data to work with, so that when you are pushing things a bit harder and you're unsure, you can then at least see if there's any kind of like spike in your resting heart rate. Also keep in mind how many stimulants you take and how much caffeine caffeine and things like this and how you're sleeping will also play a part in this. But nevertheless, it is a really good marker. And of course, resting heart rate really does show you how conditioned someone is, at least from a cardiovascular standpoint. If you've got a low resting heart rate, you tend to be quite a fit athlete. Also, how quickly your heart rate comes back down to baseline after doing intense bouts of exercise is another marker, just as a little side note for you guys. So number 5 and the final point is going to be sleep health. So it doesn't mean you must sleep, therefore you're not going to recover. This means, how are you sleeping? So are you waking up tired, or can you not get to sleep? If you can't get to sleep, sometimes this can be a sign of really pushing the intensity too hard. So if you've been lifting a lot of heavy stuff for low reps or failing heavy weights in low rep ranges, you'll find that you can often struggle when it gets to like 1 in the morning. You just feel wired, and no matter what, you can't switch off. Yet if you go downstairs, sit on the couch, try to relax, you actually feel tired. But when it comes to genuinely falling asleep, you can't actually fall asleep. Conversely, you could even wake up in the morning all of a sudden and think, well, I'm normally fresher. So let's say your standard wake up time is like 9 a.m, you know, for example, a bit late, and you normally wake up then and you feel fine, and you're noticing that all of a sudden you just, you know, you want to go back to bed for another 2-3 hours. You feel like you just need that kind of sleep. You're almost kind of never satisfied. This can be another sign that, you know, something's going on, at least physiologically, of your body, and it's trying to kind of clear out inflammation, waste products, and just heal itself. Basically, the sleep can go. So whenever the sleep deviates outside of the norm, you know, that is another sign that something might be going on here, and you might need to back off, basically. So there you have it, guys. 5 anecdotal tips. Many of them you've probably heard before, but I can confirm that they are good markers, and I've seen them time and time again over the years with myself, clientele that I work with, etc. They are time tested, and I know they work. If you prefer a read on this, I've written numerous topics on my website about sort of sleep and recovery, but I've also written an article to go along with this video that will be linked down in the description. Thanks as always for watching, guys. If you have ideas for future videos, feel free to hit me up on Instagram with a DM, or leave a comment down below. I appreciate you watching. Please like the video if you liked it, subscribe to the channel to see more content, and I'll see you all in the next video. Take care, and I'll speak to you soon.